Can you hear it when I go like this? Does this sound really low and sultry?
It does. It sounds crazy.
How sultry.
It's been a long week, right? Are you ready to wind down? Why not? It's time for the Wine Time Fridays podcast with Shelley and Phil. Neither are sommeliers, but both have a deep passion for life, each other, and of course, delicious wine. And now, here to talk about this week over a glass of wine is Shelley and Phil. It's wine time!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil. And yes, by the way, fourth week in a row with guests out of 7 in a row. So we have lined these guests up. Shelley's super happy.
Always happy for guests.
I know. Let's just get into this. This is episode 228, Friday, August 30th. Shelley, happy Friday. It's wine time.
Happy Friday. That sounds like Disneyland Main Street car.
Main Street. By the way, it's football season. I have to mention that because if I don't, I'll forget to during the course. Today we have with us for the second time on our Wine Time Fridays podcast, Heidi and Chris Cochran, but they're on a deck and we are not. And I'm a little envious because the last time they were on is that's episode 21, way back on September 11th, 2020. 4 years almost today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, hard to believe.
It just shows the extent of our friendship.
Well, I'm telling you,
Or our wine knowledge. I'm not sure which.
there is a lot of topics to be covered, but I was
There's
gonna.
also
I
a lot
had.
that's happened between now and then.
I know. Like, there's 4 years of movement. I tried to find my think big shirt, but apparently I use it for yard work now.
We do too.
Think big.
Me too. So
Yeah.
that's something that Heidi really, both of you guys had a lot to do with this Think Big Festival for the Innovation Collective. That's really where we kind of met, was the Innovation Collective through grade 8 and all of that, and we become friends. And Chris and I are in
Lovers?
business, and
Oh, I'm sorry, friends.
well, not quite, getting there. I mean, that's probably the next step.
Podcast.
We have a podcast together. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So, welcome to Wine Time Fridays, you guys. Chris might be the only other person besides you, Shelley, that when he says something, I say, okay. Phil,
Wow, that's a big responsibility.
Oh,
You're a better
seriously,
man than I am.
Phil, do you? I have this idea for a music podcast. Do you want to do it? Okay. Well, after Shelley's blessing. Phil, do you want to help run social media for the company I work for? Okay.
Okay.
Phil, hey, we're at Finger Lakes. We would love to send you guys some wine, and maybe we can be on the podcast with you guys. Okay. So
You're a yes man.
we have. That's right. We have 3 wines that you guys.
He's the okay man.
The okay. That's okay.
The okay, man.
All right.
It could be okay. You guys graciously sent us 3 bottles of wine that we're going to be opening from the Finger Lakes region, and actually, we should probably open that right
Yeah, that's
now.
a good idea.
Since we have all empty glasses. This is a 2022 Tacie's Chardonnay, and the winery. Can you pronounce the winery?
Treleaven.
Treleaven.
Treleaven, Finger Lakes region of New York. By the way, this region has been around for 150 years, give or take, 150 years, and has actually got over 100 wineries, breweries, and distilleries. That's right up Chris's alley, especially the breweries and distilleries. So yeah, this is
It's
the 2022.
and it's actually Treleaven. Treleaven.
Sorry, I don't know how to read.
I just want to make sure we say it right.
Well, I mean, so we're actually working with the Finger Lakes Wine Alliance to visit next year and have some sponsorship in there. And at that time, we will have some different perspective. What do we call those?
The different perspective team.
Different perspective team. A part of our different perspective team would be the Cochrans. And so visit a plethora of wineries in the Finger Lakes region. But I think we should have a proper Wine Time Fridays toast to health, wealth, and abundance, gratitude, romance,
And peace on earth.
and Steve Rogers.
I don't know Steve Rogers.
Last time we were on,
Ours are stemless, so they don't ring like that. But
Was he the winery friend from here? Okay.
no, this is really good. It seems to me this is the stainless steel. There's no oak on this. That's what it seemed like to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some oak.
Steve
it's only
Rogers.
lightly oaked.
Yeah, and probably neutral. The last time you guys were on, we tasted through Rooted Family Wines, who Steve Rogers, don't tip that too much further, who Steve Rogers owned and was a winemaker for, and he passed away suddenly a couple years ago.
Oh, that's who I meant.
Yeah, and it's I felt like I wanted to bring him into this conversation early.
This is only 12.2% alcohol.
12.2%.
Yeah. So the story on this wine is the
Yeah.
creator. The creator of it, her name is Tacie. That's why it's Tacie's Chardonnay. And when we were doing the tasting, the gal who was running the tasting said that the Tacie, this is the only wine she drinks. She's one of the owners. So she said in her refrigerator, there's water, this wine, and some iced tea, and that's it. That's all she'll offer you if you go to her house.
Yep.
That's funny.
This is when we went to Ithaca. And then the next day, it was Sunday, we went to the Ithaca Farmers Market, which is a beautiful, amazing farmers market. And Treleaven had a booth there. And so we were like, oh, let's go check it out. So we went over there and we're talking to this couple, and I pointed to this wine that was sitting on the table and I said, this is my favorite wine. And she goes, that's my wine.
Oh, that's so cool.
So we met Tacie at the farmer's market the next day, and we really got to like tell them what we were going to do with the wines, and we were going to be talking with you guys and doing Wine Time Friday. So they said, make sure you share with us the podcast when you guys do it. So.
Nice.
Well, and
absolutely.
That winery is a fairly decent sized winery. Like they're one of those wineries that has a big event space. They have concerts every weekend during the summertime.
Full kitchen.
It's a full kitchen, full like bar. Like it's a well-established, well-run winery. And yet here at the farmers market are two of the founders.
Yeah.
Who don't need to be there, but they just love what they do and they love being at the farmers market. So it was really cool to meet Tacie.
Yeah. And I was like, I feel like you're famous. And she was like, what? I told her the story and she was like, oh my goodness, those ladies.
Well, it's isn't it a testament though when you build something? By the way, Finger Lakes is still trying to get their fingers stretched in a lot of other areas in the nation, but they built a nice facility, and it's the way to do it if you can with the event center and things like that. Not only that, you're trying to get your name out. I mean, how often do we talk about businesses and their run, but they don't want to be out in front of the camera? We have a couple clients that are that way. I'm like, no, not me. Well, who's the face of the business? Well, I am. Well, you need to be.
But I don't want my face shown.
But I don't want my face shown. So I get it, but it sounds like for these guys, it's very easy. Is that right?
Well, it made us want to buy the wine.
Yeah.
You know, like it was really part of that decision to be like, I looked at Chris and I said, we need to do this with Shelley and Phil. We have to do this. And so that's very cool. Without even asking, we were just like, let's just do this. We'll send it to them and we got to figure this out. But it was part of the experience of having them just be so gracious to tell us where their wines came from, where the grapes came from. So
I could just say here, Chris say, hey, like to send us wines. And if you like, we can be episodes on the podcast with you. And when I say, go ahead and send the wines, but we have no interest of you having you guys on the episode.
Go ahead and send the wines.
Well, it's an interesting. The Finger Lakes is an interesting. So we moved here almost 2 years ago from the Northwest of the United States, where Washington, even Idaho wines are fantastic. We had an abundance of California wines, so we were spoiled with the quality of wines that we cut our teeth on.
Right.
And the Finger Lakes isn't exactly known internationally as one of the best terroirs in the world. However, what's fascinating is I've had some really bad Finger Lakes wines, but I've had some phenomenal Finger Lakes wines, and I can't put my finger on it because I haven't had enough of them yet. But I think it kind of comes down to the expertise and care of the individuals who are running the wineries and the winemakers themselves, as opposed to you almost could like an idiot like me who doesn't know anything about wine could probably limp along and do a decent wine in Washington State if I was in or Napa Valley, right? But in the Finger Lakes, it's much harder to do that. You have to have like the craft part of it down and understand what you're doing.
It takes years.
So it's been fun to taste through some of the wines, New York wines in general, because they hide a lot of their flaws behind fruit.
Oh,
Interesting. So
not great. You mean like peach and things like that?
Blueberry.
Oh, got it. Right. So this actually is the first of 4 weeks that we're going to have wines from somewhere other than Walla Walla, California, Oregon, any other part of the world. Today, New York. Next week, Missouri.
Wow.
2 weeks from today and 3 weeks from today, we will have wines from the Okanagan.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
And so what you said, it resonates with me because up there in the Okanagan, when we were talking to the winemakers, they're like, yeah, it's taken us some years to get a foothold into this
to
area.
Figure out what grows well there.
Yep.
Right.
And then
Also to find winemakers who had the education
and the skill
to make decent wines out of what they were given, because they weren't there before.
Right.
So that's probably true of the Finger Lakes as well.
It is.
Yep.
Right. And the Finger Lakes is an interesting region too, because it's very, very humid here. So traditionally in a winemaking terroir, you'll have like very dry conditions, really hot days, really cool nights. And the problem with this region is you get a lot of like, we just went through a month and a half where it never dipped below 75, even in the evenings, and so that's a big problem when you're doing like delicate wines. You know what I mean?
With the humidity.
Yeah.
That is true.
It is true.
Did it seem to have a lot of different varietals up there? Did you see one more than others?
Yes. It's you get a lot of what is it? I need to look it up because I can't remember off the top of my head. But yes, you get a lot of one. Fill in while I'm looking this up.
Well, I was going to say that this is, like Shelley said, 12.2 on the alcohol, but it's 100% Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And it's estate grown, which, that is fantastic. That
Cab Franc is the predominant varietal that they're going to grow here.
Yeah.
So we'll be moving there in about 6 months, I think.
That's his favorite varietal.
Come on over. You can buy a house for dirt cheap.
Yep.
And you'll have instant friends.
Well, with Shelley next to me, I have instant friends all the time.
That's true.
I just try not to embarrass her. That's exactly right. Define dirt cheap. Like, are you saying you can buy like a 2-3 story brick house? Oh no, we're talking about regions. Like, can you get a house, like a brick house, 2-3 stories on like basically your own island sort of thing?
You can. We did.
Oh, really?
The house next door to us is actually coming up for sale in the summer. Next summer.
Oh.
Well, we'll have to talk off air the size and
we just made a real estate deal happen. Hope I get commission on that.
No.
Well, there should always be a kickback, but you'd never expect it, but it's nice when it comes.
That's true. It's true.
So I mentioned that we are basically, this is the first full weekend coming up of football. We're on the 30th, so tomorrow the Huskies play at home against Weber State. The Seahawks play on Sunday.
Weber State.
Weber.
Wilbur State.
Wilbur State. Well, Wilbur. And then so the Seahawks play a week from Sunday, and we have USC that's playing this coming Sunday against LSU. There's football everywhere. I had to bring in USC for Shelley. Bow down to Washington, but blah, blah, blah. But I also wanted to mention that in reviewing our last episode together 4 years ago, I went and listened to a little bit of it, and I found it really interesting that the name Rick Dees was in the mentions. Does anybody remember that at all, Dees?
No, I don't remember talking about. I mean, I know who Rick Dees is, but I don't remember.
Disco Duck.
So
remember that song, Disco Duck?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
Last Sunday was International Weird Song Day. There's a day for everything.
Oh, Disco Duck is weird.
That's what conjured up that idea. Since Chris and I have a podcast called The Greatest Song You Never Heard podcast, we probably wouldn't do necessarily weird songs per se, although I've thought about a novelty song here or there. You guys have any weird songs that you resonate with?
Weird songs that I resonate
Every
with?
day of his life.
Yeah, that's like, it's kind of like this, embarrassing thing, but I kind of like King Tut, or whatever it is.
I don't know.
Muskrat
I love all music, so I'm sure there's weird songs that I love.
Down in the locker room?
Yeah, that's a bad one.
I'm not even sure what that song is.
I don't even know what the title is, but.
How about The Streak by Ray Stevens?
That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, as they call it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it.
How about Love Shack by the B-52s?
That is also interesting.
Teenage Enema Nurses in Bondage.
Okay. Yes. See, this is one of the many reasons why I love Shelley.
That's a weird one.
How about Napoleon the 14th? They're coming to take me away. Ha 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 ha. That's a weird one.
How about I want to buy me a dog?
Oh, the Monkees. I want to buy me a dog. A dog. Yeah. Why?
Why?
Because I need a friend now. Baby, need
a friend now.
That's right. The Chicken Dance. And then, do you guys know the song by Jimmy Castor Bunch, Troglodyte, Caveman?
No.
I know.
Gotta find a woman. Gotta find a woman. Gotta find a woman. It may be. Her name was Bertha Butt. She's one of the Butt sisters. Anyway, all of these will be in the show notes for your perusal later. Ugh. Take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go red.
All right, but I did look in the notes on this wine.
Oh, good.
And it just says subtle oak. It doesn't say how much it was aged in oak. But it says it has lemon curd, Granny Smith apple, melon, hazelnut. I get that. And subtle oak.
Yeah, I get the Granny Smith for sure. And it goes really well with seafood, chicken, salads, or cheese. I would think also oysters off the grill.
No.
I think so.
No.
I think so.
I think no.
Tacie, when you listen to this, please comment below and let us know if you would pair your Tacie Chardonnay.
Maybe some lobster.
I think her answer is everything. That's what she would pair it with.
Yeah. Can we go to a break now?
Yeah.
I forgot how much I like this wine. It's so good.
So good.
I'm not a big Chardonnay guy, and I typically prefer an unoaked Chardonnay, but this is just really good.
It's so lightly oaked. That's the thing.
It's light, but it's not. It's light, but it's not inconsequential.
Yeah.
It's complex, and there's a lot of flavors going on there, and it's good. It's not like, sometimes when you say light wine, it means wines that are like, it's all right.
LaCroix wine.
The LaCroix of wine, yeah.
LaCroix wine.
LaCroix wine.
It's full of flavor.
You want to bring us back?
Nope. Not this yet.
Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays with Shelley and Phil. Heidi and Chris Cochran, all the way from New York, Little Falls, New York. Now, if you go there, you'll be looking to find them. Right, and this is Heidi's favorite. This is so good. I had to pour a little bit more of that Chardonnay from Treleaven. And so the question I have for you both is, we have two other wines. We have another one from Treleaven. It's the Meritage, Merlot and Cab Franc. And then we have one from Long Point, which is a Cab Sauv. Which one would you like us to open next?
Let's do Long Point next.
Okay. That's a great idea.
I wonder if they pay for that Meritage name.
Yeah, that's one of the things about
They used
when
to
you
have
use
to pay for
Meritage. While I'm learning this, Heidi, do you have any nicknames when you're in school? Like,
Did I have any nicknames in school?
yeah.
I'll let you think about it. The only reason I'm laughing is it's a running joke between us when somebody says something like ridiculous that we go, oh yeah, that was my nickname in high school. So somebody said something the other day about,
Like, I'll be like, these are really fluffy marshmallows. And he'll be like, that was my nickname in high school.
Well, that actually explains a whole lot.
I don't think I had any nicknames in high school.
Nettie.
Nettie was a family nickname because my middle name's Lynette. So
It was, but it's no longer.
no, it still is, but Nettie was what my family called me when I was little.
Shelley, what were your nicknames when you were younger?
In high school?
Or earlier?
Mouse.
Mouse. I had the nickname of P. Hilly.
P. Hill. You did not name yourself.
No, P. Hilly, I was my cousin Toe named that.
But that was way later.
So when we were on with you guys before,
well,
Chris,
actually, my name was Sam.
Sam,
Big
that's
organ.
right. Well, you remember that because we talked about pizza and pipes, and to your point, you said that was my nickname in high school, Big Organ.
It's true.
And there's also Coach Cock. I wanted to get both of those in. That wasn't
until much after high school.
Well,
I was an adult when I got that nickname.
Well, it wasn't much. I mean, you're probably like 20.
That's true.
21.
So 21, you just had graduated from high school. We're going to talk about what Chris wants to talk about in a moment. We just opened this 2022. Sorry, we did not open that. The 2018 Long Point Cabernet Sauvignon, $35 at the winery or online. Okay, Chris, while we hashtag cheersing.
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 Cheers.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is going to be fun. What did you want to bring up?
Well, it's better than I remember it.
Really good.
So, what are you currently using to open these bottles of wine?
It is. It's called. I want to say a boomerang opener. Actually, I've got a better looking one here in the drawer. Yeah, maybe I don't.
It has a foil cutter built in.
You can travel with
So
it.
it doesn't have a knife, and you can take it on airplanes because it doesn't have a knife. It has that,
Oh, nice.
but they still
So-
let it through.
Yeah, the foil cutter just slides out like that.
Oh, that's
although
cool.
this is broken right here. But yeah, and then it's got.
But we've also been using the cork pop lately, which is dangerous.
It can be.
So,
Well, it's not really dangerous. It seems dangerous, but yeah.
So Phil and I talked about this a little bit, but I use this. It's an IKEA wine opener, and in theory, it looks awesome because there's foil cutter in here, which I don't ever use, but you could use it. And you push this top piece down inside. The downside to this wine opener is, first off, I don't know how, but I'll show you, Phil. The little tip of this.
Yep. Oh, it goes to the side.
See how it's like folded over?
Yeah.
It didn't come like that. So it's done that over the course of my using it, which is weird.
Oh.
But the other side is too,
Too
because of the way
forceful.
this works, you end up drilling all the way through the cork every time you open a bottle of wine. And so like this wine that I just opened, there was a bunch of cork pieces inside it. And it just drives me crazy. I don't want cork inside with this stupid. I want to get rid of this thing now is what I'm getting at.
Well, if you got it from Amazon, they will return it.
Not after 5 years.
Oh, you got it 5 years
No,
ago?
you said
No,
recently.
I don't know how long ago I got it.
We have probably 6 of these. We have a
You
travel
love that one?
This is fantastic. You can travel with it, and all you do is you put it in with your keys and wallet, whatever, on the through TSA. And they what's this? There's no knife, right? And so it's just a wine opener, and they're happy to let it through.
And then the cork up one has a pressurized cartridge, so you just put it in, and it goes boom. Don't use non-sparkling wines.
No, non-sparkling wines. I was going to say, if you were to want, and anybody who wants one of these openers, we live by this thing. We have it on the Wine Time Fridays things we use page. I think they're $8. Yeah, they're $8, and Shelley will get a kickback of about 8.5 cents if you purchase that.
Maybe 2 cents.
Maybe 2 cents. I'm thinking big.
But you have that one as well.
Yeah. So this is the
older bottle.
The Durand. Whenever we have Russell and Sarah over for one of our Wine Time Fridays, it comes in a cork package. They're not cheap. Chris, I think I may have given you a link for this.
Yeah, I think you did.
But it's got. How can I do this?
It has both of those.
Yeah, it's got both.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you work both of them in. So for older corks, we've not used this yet, but for older corks, it's nice that you get that side in, and then you can also twist up. So it's got all that stuff supporting. Yeah. So fun little things. I'm not a fan of getting gadgets in general, even gadgets per se. You get gadgets. I know you're the gadget king.
But if there's a gadget, I want it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Shelley's that way too. Anyway, we live by this thing. It's really cool. And maybe during the break, I'll go up and get the cork pops for that last wine, and you can see the cork pop in action. We still have it here on loan from CDA Gourmet.
We're not rushing the bottle.
No. So this 2018 Long Point Cabernet Sauvignon. You can smell the age on it.
Long Point.
Yeah.
Long Point is just outside of Troy, New York, which is where Cornell is located. Oh. Troy, right? No. Ithaca. I'm sorry. Just outside of Ithaca, New York. And we had gone to Ithaca for the weekend because we'd heard a friend of ours who lives here was like, "You've never been to Ithaca? Oh my gosh, it's the most amazing place ever. You got to go there." It's about an hour and 20 minutes from where we live. And so we went and spent a weekend there, and we were blown away by Ithaca. It's a really cool place. But then we found out there's all these wineries within like a 30-minute drive of Ithaca, including several in Ithaca. One of them was started in the 1880s. Like from a winemaker in Italy, Bordeaux, who came over in the 1880s and started a winery based on their heritage in Bordeaux. And so we were like, well, let's go for a drive. There's a place called the Inns of Aurora, which is a whole entire community that was revitalized by the woman who started the American Girl Doll Foundation.
Company.
Our company.
Right.
Yeah. And she bought up an entire town and turned it into these amazing boutique hotels. Every major building in this town, like spas and
restaurants.
So we went there to check it out. And then on the way back, we saw the first winery we saw on the way back was Long Point. And so we're literally just driving along, and I'm like, we're going to this winery. And Heidi's like, it's 3 p.m. I'm like, yeah, we're going to go there and taste wine anyway. Who cares? And we pulled into Long Point, and they had the tasting going on. They do it all the time. They have a big, it's a smaller winery than Treleaven, but they had a big, like an indoor, like a barn that had been converted into a tasting area. But then they were doing all these tastings under a tent outside.
Yeah.
And the folks that worked there, it was a woman and a dude who worked there who were like college age, and this was their summer job. They did a fantastic job of selling us on the wines. And we tasted through like 6 wines. That's the other thing about New York wineries. When you do the tastings, you get like 6 wines each time.
Yeah.
And generous pours enough to you're going to spit, or else you're going to get hammered at the first winery you go to.
Only one. Wow.
I mean,
so we ended up tasting this wine, and this was the best of all the ones that we tried from them. They had like like 6 different wines. This was the best of all the ones we tried from them. And we brought 2 bottles home with us, one for you and one for us.
I taste a lot of cherries.
A lot of cherry, yeah.
Is that what do you get the cherry? Almost like chocolate and cherries or something.
Like there's a cherry cordial aspect of this.
Yes.
And I can take the age on it. Speaking of age and spit and hammered, I would like to connect the circle, if you wouldn't mind, and welcome to the stage.
Get out of town! Shut your mouth!
Our friends, Roy and Kurt Grady.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Taking a timeout bottle shop.
How are you guys?
I've still got a Bottle Joy sticker on my laptop to this day.
Wow, me too.
All right. So Kurt's pouring something out of a craft. Clearly, you're down in the speakeasy.
Yes, it's peaceful here in the speakeasy.
I would say that I would give you a bad time for being down there, except for looking outside. The weather is just not conducive for being outside today. Welcome back to the podcast, you guys. I should know the actual episodes we've had Kurt and Joy on. We've actually had Kurt and Joy on from Bottle Joy more than we've had the Cochrans, except for today, the Cochrans have tied it up.
But the Cochrans visited. When
They did visit, and so
Yeah.
like I
you're
said,
mistaken.
everything's come full circle.
It's a tie.
I mean, and in truth be told, Kurt and Joy are way more knowledgeable about wine than we are. So.
Yeah, probably.
I
Well,
got
Joy.
Boone's
You were-
Farm. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Well, it goes actually Yellowtail, then Boone's Farm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
And then Barefoot.
And then
Oh, can I tell you guys a crazy trend? In
Yes.
upstate
Yes.
New York, it's super common to be sitting at a bar somewhere, and people will come in, and specifically older women over 50 will come in and they'll order any Chardonnay. They don't care what it is. They just want a Chardonnay, and then they ask for a separate glass with ice in it. And they put ice in their Chardonnay, and every time a part of my soul dies when they do this. And then I want to punch them in the head.
Oh wow.
We
A little much.
it seems like we had, who did we just have that's something about, or you can add ice. Oh, actually, it was a YouTube video I saw a sommelier talking about some things you can do, and she said, or you can put ice in, which is we don't recommend, and stuff like that. So
you can put ice and some LaCroix and then a lime on the end.
and it's a spritzer.
That's it.
I have seen
Just
that,
the
Chris, in
glass
Southern
level.
California. I think that's a Southern California thing too.
Well, I saw it at Bottle Joy a couple times too.
We kicked them out though.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, to our defense, I never did that again. So
Oh,
That's
I
only the one.
only the one time when I
Only the
kicked
one
out, I
time.
was like, only the wine time.
So
Nice.
I came on and I heard Chris saying that he was going to get spit and hammered, or hammered and spit. I'm not sure what he was talking about.
That was his nickname in high school.
That was his nickname in high
Hammered and
school.
spit.
Oh,
Nickname in high school.
the spit
awesome.
and humor.
Don't ask how he got it.
Nope.
Well, and no, we're really teetering on the explicit tag, but not yet. But I was going to say, I saw Kurt and Joy show up in the off stage, and I texted Kurt because I don't even know if he was able to see or hear us. And so I just said, I see you. And then he just said, spit and hammered. So, Kurt and Joy, what do you guys have in your glass? This is a good little segue.
I think you told me that we're still in Washington Wine Month. Is that correct?
We are.
So we thought we'd open a Washington wine.
Oh.
It's a estate Merlot from
Okay.
a small winery called Leonetti.
Oh,
And-
little teeny, unknown to
Unknown.
wine.
Yeah, I heard they're up and coming.
Where are you going?
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Yeah,
Chris is going to go get his
Oh, no.
trophy for what he
There you
spit.
go.
Got hand.
Uh-oh. What's coming up?
Leonetti Estate Merlot. Oh, what's
2020. We're running about 14, what are we, 14-ish percent, 14.6%.
that makes sense.
Wow,
Oh.
that's a great wine.
We have a bottle of Leonetti here.
Somewhere.
It could be a Merlot, but we won't open that for a while. Yes, it is Washington Wine Month. Kurt, thank you for bringing that because Chris and Heidi, what do we got going?
I don't know. Hello.
Look at that.
I think if you go like that.
I can't tell where that came out of.
So when you talk about Phil full circle, we went to Kurt and Joy's for, was it New Year's Eve?
Probably.
I think it was a New Year's Eve party that we did. And one of the things that Kurt and Joy did for their New Year's Eve party was they did, I think it was Kurt trivia. And Heidi had to answer a bunch of trivia questions, and she won this entire thing. And the reward for winning the entire thing was a 2019 Syrah from Bledsoe Winery.
Bledsoe family. Oh.
Bledsoe Family Winery. I didn't know that they actually produced a Syrah. That's pretty cool.
And I have no desire to open this now because it is like a memory etched in my mind. I'll have to open it at an open the bottle night.
Yeah, that's an open that bottle.
It's one of my prized possessions.
Well, that's nice. That's a great bottle.
That's nice.
It's a good bottle.
That is. We just had a Bledsoe Family Winery Cabernet Sauvignon 3 weeks ago, featured on this episode. With the Perrys. But my idea, I was thinking to get some Tiridas sparkling, hard to find around here. I reached out to Kurt, trying to connect and then get you guys a bottle, Heidi and Chris. And then when Kurt and Joy came on, we'd all have a toast with Tiridas sparkling wine. It just never happened. But
not find it.
Kurt, you brought the thunder with a Leonetti. That's very.
I mean, all I got is Finger Lakes wines
I
and fireworks behind me. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know how that happened. I'd like to know how you make it.
We're like, Kurt's the best, and then we get the fireworks.
I want to. Kurt, you're awesome. Kurt, you're amazing. No, wait, Joy, you're fantastic.
Maybe it's the word joy.
Bring it, joy,
Bitch.
joy.
Hammer.
Hammer get nailed.
Doesn't do it.
So how's your 2020 Leonetti Estate Merlot?
It's good. I opened it probably over an hour ago just to decant. It was jammier than I expected. But it's nice. We're actually going to have hamburgers with it tonight. We're going real high class.
That would be fantastic.
So it should be good.
Can I tell you my first experience with a Leonetti wine?
You may.
I was on my company, I was in IT, and my company had an account with CDW, which is a big distributor of like technical, like electronics and those kind of things for people who are in IT. And we would once a year get all the representatives and the like regional managers from CDW would come out to Seattle and meet with our team. And our team would milk them for everything they possibly could. So we went to, is it Barking Frog or something Frog in Woodinville?
Yeah, I think Barking Frog up there by Chateau Saint Michel.
Yeah.
And one of the guys on our team who knew wine goes, "Oh, I'll order the wine." He ordered 4 bottles of Leonetti for 8 of us.
So at a restaurant, that's about $400 a pop.
Bro, I was like, "This is really good wine." And they're like, "It should be. It's like a lot of money per bottle." And the CDW guys never asked us out again.
Surprising.
I bet not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I heard we have some Finger Lakes wine. Am I correct in this statement?
Yeah, and the reason I really wanted to get this episode done before the end of the month, even though it's Washington Wine Month, the second one of the year, which Washington gets 2 wine months, go figure. But it's also the Finger Lakes Wine Alliance. Finger Lakes Wine Month that is put on by the Finger Lakes Wine Alliance, and so I thought, what a great way of putting a bow on this month. And Kurt, you really did it by bringing that Leonetti. Unfortunately, you're going to have to taste for all of us and make sure you save enough for your burgers tonight. But thank you for that, because we can put that in the show notes. Now we've got Washington wines all through the month. So that's very cool. So what have you guys been up to before we let you go? I mean, there have been some things going on.
Well, I'll let Joyce got a new endeavor. I'll let her talk about that.
Oh my! I'm going to nursing school.
What?
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm a college girl. But as far as the beer and wine world, we just did ales for the trails. Great product.
Yep.
And our friend Brian from Chalice won 2 years in a row.
Second year in a
Best
row.
beer.
Amazing IPA.
Wow.
He brewed a beer with Brian with our name on it as well. It's just been really fun. We're picking up some shifts at Chalice Brewing, so we get to see some of the old regulars and
good.
But I love them.
keep our feet wet.
Yeah, it's
Good.
Yeah.
We miss our Joy and Kurt Fix and all the things you guys did down at Bottle
Especially in
Joy.
the summer.
Yeah, you guys did a great job down there. And when the right situation comes back up, I know that will probably resurface Bottle Joy. So that will be pretty cool.
We're
never
looking.
I miss it so much. You don't even understand how much I miss it. I thought I lived on a beer island when I lived in Hawaii or in Idaho. Hawaii. When I lived in
How much
Idaho, I
you
thought I lived on a
drink,
beer
man?
island.
So Heidi, do not let Chris have any more wine.
And then I moved to upstate New York, and I literally live on a beer island. It's the only upside for us is I'm an hour and a half from Treehouse, which is a big brewery that is pretty famous right now, and I'm an hour from Fidens, which is one of the up and coming big national breweries. But outside of that, I just miss Bottle Joy so much, mostly because I miss Kurt and Joy. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate that.
We miss everyone.
Well, there was Chris connected Kurt and I. Bottle Joy immediately became a sponsor. Immediately we have them on as guests. And then Kurt introduced me to Fast Eddie, Edward Holmes with Jay Bookwalter.
And then your gambling debt went through the roof?
Fast Eddie. No, his did, but mine not. But so the world of collaboration and connecting is something that the six of us really cherish and enjoy being a part of in every part of life. And I love that.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No,
That's what it's all about.
Good connections, good people, and it's going to continue.
Well,
Sure.
Kurt and Joy, thank you so much for joining us. And we will be catching up with you guys down the road.
I'll see you sooner rather than later.
And
Hey,
congratulations
guys.
on your new grandbaby.
Good luck in
Cheers.
nursing school.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll let you guys know when I'm in New York.
Yes.
Yes, please do.
Maybe sooner than you think. You never know.
Hey.
I'm down.
Okay,
Thanks,
guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Bye.
See you guys. Love you.
Bye.
What were your thoughts on this Long Point winery, by the way?
To me, I can taste the age. There's some prunes, dates, raisins. You can taste the age on this. I think this is actually right now is when this needs to be drank.
Yep.
It's a 2018. It's 6 years old. Again, I'm not a somm. I'm not an expert. Just what I'm thinking is that's right up against that perfect time to drink.
I would agree.
So I'm really pleased that we were able to open this because it does have that. You can taste the age.
Yeah.
I already finished mine. So did Shelley. But
I love how these wines have the Finger Lake on the back. Both of them.
Yeah.
Probably
They're
all
very
of them.
proud. They're very proud of their wines through the Finger Lakes. And there's many Finger Lakes. How many are there?
5 or
There's
6.
5. Yeah.
I think there's 7.
Oh, is there 7?
I think
you're
there's
right.
7. Yeah, I've got
This
some
Cayuga
information.
Lake.
So the Finger Lakes, the region's cool climate makes it ideal for producing high quality Riesling, Pinot Noir, and other cool climate wines. However, I wouldn't say either of these are necessarily cool climate. Finger Lakes Wine Month, which we are in, promotes local economic growth, which they need to start getting the name out, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? They're also they are sustainable. They are going organic.
Sustainable and eco-friendly
Practices. That's where I put that note.
Yeah.
And so we're huge fans of that. Just trying to not destroy the earth. Shelley's looking to see if it's got any brown edges, which it really kind of doesn't.
No, it does.
a little bit.
Is that a bad thing? There's brown edges?
No, no.
Tells you the age.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at this, on a younger wine, it's going to be bright colors all the way to the edge. But if you look at this up against a white background,
It's a little brown.
you'll notice, the amber, little brown on the edges.
Right.
Yep.
Oops, not that one.
Nope. Take one more break. When we come back, boom.
Okay. Boom. Welcome back to Wine Time Fridays, episode 228. And you ran upstairs, which is publishing on August 30th. So we are talking with Chris and Heidi Cochran, who are in New York, and they have sent over some wines from the Finger Lakes, which is very fun because neither one of us have had any wines from Finger Lakes at all, or from New York, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, when we moved here, I don't think I'd ever had anything from New York as well. And I've found a number of wines, specifically white wines, do better here. So traditionally, a white wine is going to do really, really well here. And I found a few that I really like. Dr. Frankfurter, is that what it's called? Not Frankenstein.
Yeah, sure.
Well, probably a Riesling because it's named like Dr. Lucen.
Yeah, like a German.
Yeah.
Dr. Konstantin Frank.
Dr. Constantin.
I know that. I know that thing.
It's like the granddaddy of New York wines.
Okay. They used to do some ice wines in Finger Lakes a long time ago, but I never.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking. I had some notes on some other wineries in the Finger Lakes region.
Now it's gone.
Well, I may not put it over to the Apple Notes, but
Now I'm going to show the cork pop.
Yeah. So is this a good time to break in?
Yeah.
Lastly, we're going to open the 2022 Treleaven Meritage. And this one is the Cab Franc and the Merlot. And
That was
here,
too low.
that was low?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then here is we'll wait for Chris Cochran to come back.
What is that flower on the label?
Aren't they pretty? I love their labels.
Yeah, they are pretty. I like flowers.
Oh, yeah. The Tacie Chardonnay also has.
So yellow for the white wines, red for the red wine. We haven't had any of their others, so we don't know.
I want to thank Chris Cochran for wearing shorts today.
Well,
he sat down.
It's still 74 degrees right now at
Really?
7:20 p.m. in the evening here. So
Pretty humid.
Wow.
yeah,
It's a pretty night. The
So-
river's really pretty.
Yep, I'm back. So the Cork Pops uses this little canister,
I've seen two.
CO2, and it goes right in the top. You
Mm-hmm.
can see it there.
Canister does.
Yep, and you can also see this.
oh, that's the
Neat.
popper thing.
Yeah, can you see the needle?
Yeah.
There we are.
Are you
Believe it
gonna
or
use
not.
to open up this bottle?
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
Shelley is
sweet.
going to take another video that we will use with our clients. Tell me when you're ready, Shelley.
Yep.
So you just take this needle. So this is for people who do not have a lot of hand strength, like maybe
Like
you're a
me.
little bit older.
Mhm.
So you put it right in the middle of the cork, and it really just pushes right down. To open it,
Don't knock the other bottles over.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
yep,
And if you wanted to, you could use that CO2 cartridge to get wasted.
you could. You could do that.
Let's not do that.
That would be
When in
wasted
Idaho.
and split.
One in Idaho.
Only in Idaho. Perfect. Hey, this is North Idaho. Reject hate.
Right.
Just so
right.
you know.
Home of the $1
This-
million houses.
That's right. Home of the $1 million houses.
Smell it.
Oh,
Oh,
this one's a good one. I remember this one.
I saved this one for the last because the Long Point Winery Cabernet is really, really good. It was the best of all the wines we tasted, but this was one of my favorite wines that I had, and it's a true Meritage. And I was really impressed with it from a Meritage perspective. It's really good.
I don't think we've ever done Meritage as the wine word of the week. We need to do that at some point.
Yeah.
We have a wine word of the week this week that we will get to in a moment that is brought to you by our friends at the social web.
Cheers.
Hashtag cheersing.
That's loud.
Did you say prison?
Mm-mm.
Cheersing.
Cheersing. Hashtag cheersing.
I heard hashtag prison, and I was like, okay,
It wasn't.
cheers.
So, if I recall correctly, Meritage, the same blend as a Bordeaux blend. You can only use the grapes as you would use in Bordeaux.
Right.
To Shelley's point earlier, there was a time when you had to actually pay Meritage Association or whatever for using the name Meritage on the front of a bottle.
I don't know if you still do it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
you may not have to. It really was kind of expensive and it didn't make any sense. You could just put, Bordeaux blend on it or red blend and have the Bordeaux grapes. But I guess the Meritage has some weight to it.
Mhm.
This is Cab Franc and Merlot. I don't know if it's 50, but it is those two varietals. Residual sugar, they put the residual sugar on the back. That's awesome. 0%, 13% alcohol. Let's see if
There's less alcohol over there. That's kind of
There was
nice.
only 252 cases of this wine. That's a pretty
is
interesting.
that right?
Yeah.
And I like on their labels on the back, they tell you how dry to sweet it is.
Well, that says 0.0% residual sugar.
I know, but they have this little
Oh, they do have a
line,
slide. Yep.
which is nice.
Yeah, we're huge fans of as much information as you
On the
can
label.
on the label without cluttering it up. But at a glance, you can tell, but they also add the residual sugar in on that. If you'll notice this, when you hold it up to a white, it should be pretty red all the way up to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to be
That's
dusk
it.
here, so I don't have a lot of light.
2020.
Yeah, it's a pretty color.
It's funnier. It's funny too because on the nose, it feels bigger than it is on the mouth feel and on the, you know what I mean? It feels like a big giant cab but it's very delicate and very like, this would be great with like a pork or like something like more delicate, like even a
Lamb.
Yeah, with lamb, it'd be really good with lamb.
Or salmon. I think this would go.
I
It's
think
like
you're right. Yeah.
it's a little heavier Pinot-ish.
It is very Pinot-ish. You're right.
I understand, I guess.
A little bit. I haven't got what it pairs with on my notes, but I think you're right. It's so funny when you take in the smell and you're expecting the taste to come across a certain way, and then it kind of throws you off a little bit.
So does Tacie make any of the red wines, or does she only do the one white? Do you know?
Does what?
Tacie.
She only likes her wine.
But does she make any other wines besides the white Chardonnay?
I think she tastes them all, but I don't think she's in charge of those ones. That's the only one she cares
Treleaven
about.
does, but that's the only one she'll drink. She doesn't drink any red wines or any other white wines. So,
and we ended up having
or any other alcohol at all. This is the only alcohol she drinks is her wine.
Wow.
They ended up having a port, like basically a fortified wine that was spectacular. They had two different ones actually that were really good. So they have a good variety. If you ever go there, they have a really good variety of
They do.
white wines.
The
rosé was really good. They did a sparkling rosé that was to die for.
So good.
Of all the three wineries we tasted while we were in Ithaca, Treleaven was our favorite.
Absolutely. Everything we tasted there was good. There wasn't one thing that we were like,
That's so much fun. That was very similar to our experiences in the tasting rooms in Canada this time around. Completely different from 2018 to 2024. There's like triple or quadruple the amount of wineries between the border and Penticton, which is only like an hour. And there were just everywhere you turn, there's another winery, another estate, another vineyard. And
I think there are like 188 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
In that whole big valley.
You know, another area we should think about like exploring is right across the border from Buffalo is an area called Niagara on the Lake. And it's kind of like the Coeur d'Alene of Canada. It reminds me a lot of Coeur d'Alene in some ways, but it's wine country for all of Canada. So what's really weird is Buffalo, you have to drive through the industrial area of Buffalo to get across the bridge to go to Niagara on the Lake. And the area you drive through in this industrial area looks like the apocalypse has happened. And like you're driving through it, and you drive across this bridge, and literally within 400 yards, you go from apocalypse to like $1 million houses on the other side of the border, and wineries everywhere. And there's probably 30, 40 wineries like right across the border, including Wayne Gretzky's winery is there. We should explore that. If you guys ever get out here, I should say when you guys get out here, we should explore that as well.
It's on the calendar for 2025.
Yes.
Good.
Don't know which month, but it's on the calendar for 2025.
Nice.
Unless we want to come take a look at some real estate in 2024.
And for those listening, by the way, for those listening, we're coming to you today from Little Falls, New York. It's a town of 4,500 people-ish.
Tiny town.
You can still buy a house here for $100,000, like a decent house for $100,000 bucks.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
2024.
You can buy a house on an island between the Erie Canal and the river for less than the cheapest house you could find in Coeur d'Alene.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Or for a short time, probably, and then it's gonna get popular.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, we won't say a word.
We're not telling anybody.
I can just see Chris right now is going. Not the house next to us. That's too much, Phil. Right now, Chris has got to see me once a week for our weekly meetings. Twice a month for when we record our music podcast. He's had enough of his fill of Phil.
The Phil Next Door could be my children's book.
The Phil
The
Next
which?
Door.
The Phil Next Door.
That's good.
That could be my
I'd much rather.
We share a wall with our neighbors. So our garage is attached to their wall.
But you only have, that's the only neighbor, right?
Yeah.
It's the only one.
We're the only houses between the Erie Canal and river and pretty much the whole Mohawk Valley left. There used to be houses all up and down, but a lot of them just fell down by 1950s, 1960s.
I should return the favor what Chris used to do when we recorded all of our music episodes. If you have any questions, just text Phil or give him a call at 206 and he give me my number. So
that's exactly what I do.
Find out about real estate in Little Falls, New York. Chris's number is 206. I don't have
actually. Heidi would be the one you'd want to contact because she's more up to speed on New York real estate.
Just go on Redfin. Download the Redfin app. Our zip code's 13365. Check it out.
13365.
Hey, social one word of the week.
Let's oh my gosh. She's like,
and Phil,
yes.
We're within a 5-hour drive of 7 major league ballparks.
I know what Phil and Chris are doing.
Baltimore, New York, and New York.
I think Seattle's behind right now.
Are they really?
Philadelphia, Boston,
Toronto, Cleveland.
That's 6. That's 7.
Yeah.
How about football?
Oh, I got super excited for a minute. I saw the Mariners won 6-5, but that was yesterday. They lost today.
I haven't looked
today or the 24th.
You just save yourself. So, the social web wine words of the week.
Only one word.
Oh, yes. Wine word of the week. Can you pronounce this?
Is it French? Is it La Coustrine?
Let's go with that. La Coustrine.
Okay.
You want to say what that means?
That's terroir and flavor profile of wine shaped by the Finger Lakes proximity, typically featuring citrus, stone fruit, floral notes with a mineral-driven freshness. It's probably French because lac is lake. So,
yeah. So, in essence, La Coustrine captures the distinctive fingerprint of the Finger Lakes wines. So they have a glacial history and the lake effect of all the lakes and all of that stuff, as well as the mineral soil.
The lake effect of all the lakes.
Yes.
Well, that would be the lake effect.
It would be.
There's a lot of minerals there.
And as they said on Saturday Night Live, you can take the girls out of the Finger Lake. but you can't take the fingers out of the girl.
Oh my goodness.
And there's your explicit tag. Not really. I was going to say last week we had Kevin Pogue, a geologist, very, very in-depth knowledge of the Missoula flood.
And he has super cool, raw, bright vines.
Oh my
in
gosh,
his
it's
backyard.
fantastic.
Amazing.
But
the roots are like, I mean, the vine trunk.
oh yeah,
like
the
this
root
big.
was like 8 inches. I was going to say the root's like 8 inches. Anyway, Chris would get that. So,
wasn't that your nickname? About 8 inches.
That's right. The minerals that are sometimes in the taste profile, he's like, I don't get it. Minerals don't have a taste. So that was kind of interesting. Anyway, that word was from the social web. Thank you, the social web. And then I wanted to say what's coming up. The 6th of September, National Chianti Day, which of course I believe is in the middle next week. The 10th is International Port Wine Day. Chris, you mentioned a port that was it this
Finger Lakes wine? Yeah.
Okay.
Necessary that one.
So that's the port wine day. Of course, actual port has to be from Portugal, but you can have port style. 20th International Grenache Day in October. Shelley, I'm sorry, but it is your birthday month, so we're going to start naming these off. October 5th, World Vraynek Day. Have you guys had a Vraynek?
No,
we have
not since my surgery.
Not since that's your surgery.
I don't know what a Vraynek is.
Vraynek, V-R-A-N-E-C.
Some kind of grape.
It's a grape title native to the Balkans, specifically found in Macedonia.
Brannick.
Brannick?
I've never had
it. Could be Brannick.
Brannick.
So, thank you, because I can't read. I just saw that as Vraynek, but it's probably Vraynek, yes. It's found in Macedonia, Serbia. It's a red wine grape known for producing full-bodied wines. Lots of profiles. I don't think we'll have a Vraynek. That reminds me of Danny Vrains, which would be old school. Shout out to the Sonics. Anyway, that's World Vraynek Day. The 6th is National Orange Wine Day. Love orange wine. The 12th is International Pinotage Day.
You like that too.
Which is always the second Saturday in October. Yes, sir.
Didn't we have an orange wine at the farmer's market?
I think we tasted a blueberry wine.
So I want to throw out a shout out to Lakeland Winery. Also they're technically out of Syracuse, but they do some Finger Lakes wines as well. Some of their grapes come from the Finger Lakes. They actually did a really interesting. We had a good wine from them. We got a semi-dry blueberry wine, which I got because it was $20 and it was really good.
Yeah, it was actually very good. We don't usually like fruit wines.
No, but it was really good. But they also did was it a cab?
Yes.
Where they imported all the juice from Southern California or from Napa.
So
and then made the wine in Syracuse.
It's a long
and it was really good too. So Lakeland Winery, I told him we were going to be on the podcast. He asked me to mention it, so I told him I would. It's literally lakelandwinery.com.
Outstanding, because I put all the mentions in the show notes, and on Facebook and Instagram, they get a big old tag. But since you brought up Lakeland, I figured I would bring up those other Finger Lakes wines like Heron Hill Winery, Hunt Country Vineyards, the Quakers. What? Not Mike.
Is his name Mike?
Michael.
Michael Hunt?
Michael. Yeah. Michael. Yeah. Nice try. He almost got me. That's going on the front too. Quakers Spring Vineyards and Vineyard View Winery, as well as Weiss Vines. So there's some shout outs that I saw from the Finger Lakes Wine Alliance on Instagram recently that I'm starting to like some of those wineries and following them because we could be visiting them very soon. So let's get relationships built right away is my thought. Lastly, some of the wines we've had this week: Sun Chardonnay, Underground Wine Project Idle Hands Red, the Molino da Sugar Brunello di Montalcino. Chris and Heidi, have you ever heard of the Nova Vita Sauvignon Blanc?
We tried that this week, actually.
So did we. It was very good.
It was
the
good.
Upper Bench Merlot Cab Franc and the Don Rodolfo Malbec. By the way, Chris texted me about a month ago, said if there's one wine club that you would recommend, what would it be? And I said the Gary V Wine Club, just because of the value, and you're getting different wines. But now I would say Naked Wines because they're back on board.
Naked Wines are good.
Naked Wines.
Oh man, you steered me wrong.
Well, here's the thing.
You should be elected too.
Yeah, here's the thing with Naked Wines. Well, one of the problems.
Naked Wines, they feature the winemakers themselves, not necessarily the wineries, but not famous, but really great winemakers who work at certain places, but also make their own wines. So they're really, really good.
You've got a monthly buy-in, and you accrue these credits.
And you're like an angel investor.
You're an angel investor, and then when your credits hit a certain amount, a couple $100, whatever, you're getting these wines at really reduced prices. Or don't be an angel, and then you can buy them for more or whatever. So we have not had a bad Naked Wine that I can remember.
It's funny that you say that because it's probably been about 8 or 9 years ago we were Naked Wine subscription people, and we had wines from them. But Heidi's best friend just came through upstate New York. She has a cabin on a lake in Quebec.
Yep.
Right. And she came through and she spent the night with us. And she goes, "Oh, you got to try this wine. My husband and I just signed up for this wine club with Naked Wines." And I'm like, wah, wah, wah. And she's like, no, this is fantastic. And it was really, really good.
Yeah, we have yet, and we know.
I don't think they're the same as they used to be.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
They're better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We have a handful of people that we know that are wine club members with Naked Wines, and they love them. And we do too. And we try to be as objective as possible. I think we may have had one that we were like, but I think I'm a Pinot Gris, and we're not Pinot Gris fans. True. So it's not really fair when you look at it that way. So anyway, Chris joined Gary V, and now we can share that as well. Next week, we have wines from Terravox, which is a Missouri winery. The first AVA in the United States was in Missouri, which still is hard for me to believe. Heidi and Chris Cochran.
Yes.
Do you have any final thoughts?
We miss you guys.
We miss you too.
Be careful what you wish for.
Listen,
thanks for sharing your Finger Lake wines.
What's that?
We might need to, I said, if you guys live next door, we might need to check in, both of us, for like treatment. We could like drink wine. Like literally, there's a deck. I can see the other deck from here.
Yeah, we see their deck.
Yeah.
From here.
So,
like,
oops,
Chris. Hey.
Yeah, we can cheers.
It'd be funny.
Yep.
Thank you so much for both of you guys for sending these wines. They're fantastic. It is our first experience tasting wines from the Finger Lake region, and it is super, super exciting to taste these wines and then look forward to some other ones that we've got coming up in the future. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for being a part of this episode and with a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So welcome. Thanks for bringing it up as an idea. With a little bit of knowledge, wine becomes a lot less overwhelming. Thanks for joining us next week when we talk and taste wines from Terravox Winery. Different bell.
Different bell.
Thank you for spending part of your day to wind down with Shelley and Phil. Remember, you can listen to any episode of the Wine Time Fridays podcast by visiting winetimefridays.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And join us on our Wine Time Fridays Facebook page, Instagram, or on Twitter, which is @VintageTweets, for daily conversation. Until next week, here's our toast to you. To health, wealth, abundance, gratitude, peace on earth, and of course, romance.
Okay. do we get off?
Close the laptop.
And there's our show lead.
Close the laptop.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Now we can talk crap about them behind their back.
There we go. Now we can. Those son of a bitches, I can't stand them.